Before we start, just a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. Only 2% are subscribed. At 1,000 subscribers, I'll be posting a special video. The latch resists once. I slide a card and push through. Cold air stings my mouth as I land in the mudroom. A floorboard answers with a dull click that travels. I freeze with my hand raised and listen for breath. Silence stretches thin, something waits deeper in. I'm Alex 24, this part matters now. My pulse counts the steps as I move past coats. Keys hang on a hook like bait set for me. I pocket the smallest key and hold my breath. A faint draft whispers from the hallway, the house inhales. I crack the inner door with my shoulder, no creak. Shadows cut across the runner like slats. A nightlight blinks once near the baseboard. That blink changes my route toward the study. I step wide to avoid the strip that squeals. A drawer sticks then slides, soft felt, neat rows. Invoices stack under a rubber band and a name. I lift the stack and a second drawer bumps back. Hidden rail, I lean and press the false side. A flat tin pops loose against my palm, too light. The tin holds a flash drive and a card. The card shows a clinic logo and a date. My throat tightens, but I keep my hands steady. The date sits 8 years off like a siren. I pocket both and close the tin, no trace. Tires grind gravel, too close for comfort. Headlights sweep the curtains and then stop. I kill the hallway light with one thumb. Boots crunch near the side steps and pause. I move toward the laundry door, fast exit, bad angle. Front keys scrape metal, wrong rhythm, 2 people. I tuck behind the fridge and count slow. My breath fogs the steel and would betray me. I swallow hard and wait for shoes on tile. A bag thumps the table, voices settle low. Alarm's dead, the voice rides a short laugh. A drawer opens and shuts, metal knocks metal. Check the study, the other voice stays flat. Footsteps split left and right like a drill. I edge along the fridge toward the back door. The back door chain is new, tight to the frame. My small key fits the lock but not the chain. I slide the chain bolt and it scrapes loud. The laughter stops, the flat voice lifts up. Someone's here, a chair skids and bites tile. I shove the trash bin under the knob as block. A hand hits the door and tests the weight. Screws complain and then hold for a beat. I sprint to the pantry and climb the shelves. The top hatch to the crawl space waits, dusty but open. I push the hatch, it sticks, I push harder. Wood groans and then gives with a pop. A flashlight beam slices the pantry door. Up top, the beam climbs and shakes once. I roll into the crawl space and pull the hatch. Dark presses close, the boards hum under me. I belly crawl toward the vent above the study. Voices fill the house with short commands. Check the safe, the flat voice carries control. I stop at the vent and lower an eye. The study safe sits open, empty shelves glare. The flat voice picks up a notebook, blank pages. A phone buzzes and lights a sharp rectangle. The screen shows an email draft with my name. The draft lists a time and a meet place, tonight. I think about the clinic card and the dates. I think about why a meeting needs me present. A chill pushes me to the next vent, faster. Below, a closet door stands cracked like a grin. Inside, a lockbox waits under folded towels. The footsteps split again, kitchen and hallway. I take the chance and lift the vent screen. Screws loosen, one drops and pings on wood. The ping pulls both voices toward the study. I drop through and land in the closet. Air tightens, fabric muffles the room like cotton. I slide the lockbox free and test the latch. My small key turns and finds resistance, then yields. Inside, a bracelet and a typed code blink up. My skin heats as if the code knows me. The study door swings wider, boots on carpet. I pack the lockbox contents and push the door. The closet cracks just enough for a sliver. A beam passes and pauses on the desk. Something's missing, a chair knocks against the rug. I slip along the wall toward the hall. A flat voice moves to the window and waits. I pick the only path that keeps me unseen. The runner groans once and then goes silent. A palm lands on my shoulder, heavy and sure. Stop, breath touches my neck like cold. I raise both hands and turn slow. The flashlight climbs my face and holds steady. The other figure blocks the doorway, backlit and stiff. My exit collapses to a hard point. I speak first because fear hates silence. I'm here for answers, my voice stays level. The hand drops an inch, enough room to think. The backlit figure shifts and checks the hall. Then take a seat, the voice tries patience and fails. I don't sit, I move to the desk instead. The flash drive sits under my palm like proof. This goes with me, my stance dares them forward. The clock ticks fast now, louder than before. Something bigger than this room draws near. The flat voice glances at the window latch. The other voice slices in with sharp edge. Police will love this break-in, a phone lifts. I lean on the desk and tilt the screen away. On the screen, a folder name flashes, my birthday. Sirens brush the edge of hearing, may be real. Both figures stiffen and trade short looks. I pocket the drive and the bracelet in one move. The window lock snaps when I jerk it up. Cold night spills in like a dare I might take. I kick the window up and dive through. Hands grab for my shoe, miss, nails scrape my heel. I land hard on the porch roof and keep moving. Gravel spits under me when I hit the yard. A voice curses behind me, closer than I guessed. A fence bars the alley, I climb and swing down. Another thud on the wood tells me they follow. I cut left toward the road where engines hum. Sirens bloom then fade like a bad promise. I do not wait to see who they want. Headlights knife across my knees and halt fast. A door opens and someone leans out and stares. Get in, calm, no wobble, both hands visible on the wheel. I hesitate, flight still owns my legs tonight. Or run until they circle back, the motor purrs. I slide in and pull the door tight. The car rolls without a squeal or show. My chest tries to outpace the speedometer. Seatbelt, a finger taps the latch, steady rhythm. I click it and scan for traps. Phone, the driver holds out a small pouch. Faraday, he drifts past a stop sign and smiles thin. I drop my phone in and keep the drive in pocket. He watches my hands then nods once. You brought proof already, good instincts. Who are you? My voice works now. Logistics, he checks the mirror and eases right. A billboard blinks over us and counts minutes. He points at my wrist like he knows. That band opens the first door. We pull behind the train station and idle. The platform clock punches the hour with authority. He kills the lights and studies the entry cameras. 2 minutes between sweeps, he pops his own belt. Follow me and keep quiet. We cut through a service gate and descend stairs. He stops at metal lockers and waits for space. Try the last 4 on that bracelet, he steps aside. The locker accepts the code with a dull clack. Inside rests a single envelope and a stub key. Take both, he shifts his weight toward the tracks. I pocket the items and recheck my exits. A rail worker glances our way and shrugs off. The driver tips his chin, leave now, no chit-chat. We slip back to the car before the sweep. Doors shut, airtight again, pulse steadying. I tear the flap and slide out a folded page. A meeting time, a bridge name, a warning line. Bring original media or walk away empty forever. The driver whistles low, someone planned a drop. Why help me, I keep the page in hand. He holds the wheel and angles toward downtown. Once you know why, you will not ask that. He keeps his eyes on the road and breathes slow. Use the stub key before the bridge. We park near a storage row and kill the engine. Corridors stretch straight and silent like a test. He points to Unit 27 and lets me lead. The stub key fits a small hatch beside the door. A hidden panel slides and reveals a second slot. I push the bracelet chip against the reader. A green dot blinks once then locks solid. The door lifts and a narrow light kicks on. Inside, a case waits with a handwritten label. Different handwriting than the house, clean and direct. I crack the case and see a recorder and cable. A spare battery, a short card with a code. No clutter, no extra noise to confuse me. Record everything tonight, the driver leans near. If you stop early, leverage dies. He takes a step back and checks the lane. After the bridge, leave town for 24 hours. Someone will try to track you before morning. His jaw works like he hates the next words. If the meeting fails, burn that drive. We exit the unit and drop the panel again. The lane holds a man with a hood and a limp. He lifts a hand and shows he carries nothing. Trade now, his mouth twists like he tasted rust. The driver raises his palms, open show, careful distance. You are early, my stomach turns to ice. The limping man looks past me toward the car. We move the place because they watch the bridge. He taps his pocket twice and waits for my play. You brought the stick or just courage? I hold the drive and not the card. Proof first, I tilt my head to keep him talking. He smirks and points up toward the camera dome. No proofs under an eye that belongs to them. He angles toward the stairwell, fast choice, hard turn. We follow 3 floors, breath timed to footsteps. On the landing he pauses and lifts his shirt. A wire rests under tape with a tiny light. Your friends love recordings too, he winks once. I consider yanking it and choose not to. We step onto the roof and drop behind a vent. Wind pushes words into short bursts that sting. He opens his jacket and pulls a paper strip. A list of surnames and a clinic note. At the bottom, a date that matches my card. Look, he pinches T. He edges and turns away. Each line holds a child and a sponsor. A name on the second row makes my mouth dry. Not theirs, another couple, a household from our street. He watches my eyes hit that line and narrow. He offers the strip and points to my pocket. Now the stick, his palms weight like scales. I pass him a decoy I built last month. He weighs it and slides it into a sleeve. Tell them you never found the real one. Who is them? My voice drops until it bites. He nods at the city spread below our feet. Board members, donors, the men who judge birthdays. His limp eases as if fear feeds posture. Tonight they test whether you bluff. A door bangs open and spills 2 silhouettes. Not the driver, new threats, hard shoulders. The limping man flicks the strip into my hood. Run the stairs, keep left on the second turn. He sprints toward the opposite rail and waves big. I bolt for the door while the shapes track him. The driver appears below and points to the alley. I take the left stairs and count landings out loud. 1 turn, 2 turns, a cough echoes behind me. I skip the last 3 steps and hit concrete. The car jerks forward and I vault inside. We fishtail once and then catch grip fast. Did you get anything that matters? He glances once. I pull the strip from my hood and flatten it. He breathes through his nose, 1 steady release. Keep that hidden until the bridge, he resets the mirror. We merge into traffic and fade into ordinary noise. My fingers find the recorder in the extra cell. I picture the faces on the other side of midnight. None of them plan to leave me breathing easy. I snap the recorder on and place it near my chest. Every bump and breath now belongs to future proof. I tuck the strip in my shoe where heat hides it. Across the boulevard, a van starts without lights. The driver notices and kills our right turn. They found us, he takes a side street at speed. I brace and hold the door while corners bite. We break sightlines and cut behind a warehouse. The van overshoots and doubles back hungry. We hold still and count the seconds like debt. They expect the bridge, I open the envelope again. A second message bleeds through the paper when angled. Change of place, change of hour, a handwritten symbol. Someone inside their circle slipped me a safer route. I point to a tunnel scribbled in short lines. Good, the driver nods and lights up with resolve. We take the tunnel and ditch the car there. He reaches into the console and pulls 2 hats. Walk the last stretch like we belong near river. He squeezes my shoulder once, brief and firm. We roll toward the Newmark and blend with buses. I keep the recorder running and test the battery. My foot taps the floor with a rhythm I recognize. Not fear, readiness, something I never thought I'd own. Tonight decides whether I stay prey or become witness. We ditch the car at the tunnel mouth and keep moving. Buses roar overhead and shake grit onto our shoulders. The recorder warms against my chest like a live coin. Left stairwell, he points once and looks past me. Footsteps echo behind us and then stop short. I take the stairs 2 at a time and count breaths. He stays half a pace back and watches the rails. A gust pushes through and kills our whispers. We slide through a maintenance door and lock it. Metal thunks behind us like a clear warning. The passage bends and narrows toward river noise. Water drips in patient beats that mess with timing. Give me the envelope, his palm waits steady. I pass it without blinking and test his eyes. He tucks it inside his jacket and nods once. A red mark sprays across the wall like a signal. He angles toward it and taps the brick twice. A square panel clicks and opens to a cramped stair. We surface near the pilings, his jaw tightens. I pocket my hands to hide the shake building. We come up beneath the embankment and crouch low. Traffic washes overhead and erases small sounds. A figure waits at the railing and checks a watch. He turns his head only enough to feel us. 2 minutes early, his shoes scuff and still. Show proof, he lifts a bag and keeps distance. I hold up the recorder and the USB together. No files in the air, he twitches toward the water. He wants a close handoff in a blind spot. The driver touches my elbow and lets go. I step into the wedge of shadow he chose. The man meets me halfway and lowers his voice. Say the number on your band, his breath shortens. I read it slow, so he must listen closely. He flinches at the last 2 digits like recognition. Good, his shoulders drop and then reset fast. Place the stick in my bag and keep the cord. He opens the zipper just enough for a slot. A second shape separates from the bridge column. The driver turns his head a fraction and waits. Back up already, I keep my mouth from tightening. The new shape keeps a hand inside his coat. He angles to box us from the scent. Aircase exit. Clock's loud tonight, the first man forces a smile. He wants me to hurry and slip. I feed him the decoy and drop the cable. He weighs the bag and slings it without looking. Your turn, I hold the recorder against my chest. Name on line 3, he pats the bag twice. He tries to move past the demand with momentum. Say it, my stance cuts off his path clean. He stalls and glances at the second shape. RM, the name lands hard and wrong in my ear. The driver shifts his feet and prepares the next move. A train horn rolls down river like a queue line. The second shape steps closer and tilts his chin. No speaking names here, he reaches for the bag. I back up 2 paces toward the rail and wait. He closes the gap with practiced confidence and speed. The driver lets him pass me and then blocks him. Trade ends now, the first man starts to bolt. I swing the recorder toward his jaw and miss. He stumbles anyway and his watch flashes bright. He catches the rail with one hand and swears. I lunge and rip the bag off his shoulder. The second shape yanks the driver by the sleeve. They twist and crash against the pillar hard. Something clatters and spins toward the dark water. I scoop the bag and run for the staircase. Boots hammer the deck and chase close behind. At the turn, a woman blocks the step and raises a palm. Down, her voice slices clean through everything. I drop without thinking and cover my head. 2 darts flip past and bury in wood. She fires again and the pursuing steps collapse. The driver drags the gasping man behind a barrier. The woman plants herself between us and the rail. Move, she jerks her chin toward the access road. I hesitate and test her face for a tell. She flashes a plain badge with a faded crest. They sent a cleaner, the driver breathes in disbelief. She cuts him off with a quick look and a frown. Not for them, for you, her stare pins me. Open the bag and check the pocket sewn inside. Her hands stay high so I can trust barely. I rip the lining and find a folded note. 3 numbers, 1 word, a short map sketch. The word matches the symbol from the hidden message. She nods once when I do not hide my surprise. They rerouted you to kill box. Why help us? The driver wipes blood off his lip. She takes my wrist and turns it toward the band. Because this code alerted 3 agencies last month. Her grip loosens when she sees my eyes shift. It matched a file tied to a donor account. We move along the embankment and hug the shadows. A boat idles under the next span and waits. The woman whistles 2 notes at the water. A light flickers twice and then stays dim. On board and no names, her shoulders square to cover. We jump down to the deck one at a time. The operator does not speak and points aft. The city recedes in short broken beats of sound. I unzip the bag and slide out the container. Inside rests another drive with a tiny seal. The seal matches the crest on her old badge. She looks away as if the match stings hard. That one came from inside the committee last week. She keeps her voice flat to avoid shaking me. They wanted leverage and lost their nerve. The driver angles his head toward the shoreline. Headlights slice the far bank and fan out. They know we changed routes, he braces for contact. The woman checks the horizon and counts quietly. 4 vehicles maximum and 1 drone. I switch the recorder to external mic and hold steady. Talk into this and make it official. She leans in and lists the numbers on my note. She adds locations and checkpoints we already passed. Her tone stays disciplined because fear feeds errors. Rotors buzz above us and then veer off west. The operator douses the engine and lets the current pull. We drift beneath a service pier and bump hard. Footsteps thunder overhead and then move on. I clench my jaw until the ache clears my head. The woman taps the sealed drive with a fingernail. Hide this where they will not search first. I slide it into the sole of my other shoe. The adhesive grips and locks the shape in place. Every step from now on will carry that weight. We make the far bank and climb a rusted ladder. A warehouse lot stretches ahead like a chessboard. She points to a door with a crooked hinge. In there you find a pay line for one call. She pauses and looks at me like a test. Who do I call? I hold her stare and wait. She pulls a small card from behind her watch. Number 2 on this list. Her lip twitches once. He can freeze the donors long enough to breathe. She hands it over and keeps her fingers on mine. The door groans and a faint bell jangles twice. The driver posts at the corner and watches street. I step inside and spot the phone mounted low. Coins rattle down and the dial wakes up. The tone connects and a voice answers fast. Code sharp and efficient and not surprised. I give the numbers from the note without shaking. Confirmed. Keys chatter on his side like rainfall. Walk to the back and retrieve the second package. The line clicks dead and the handset swings. I stand still and listen for a trap to spring. Nothing moves except the clock beating on the wall. The woman tightens her jaw and gestures go. We slide to the rear and find a narrow box. I lift the lid and stare at a badge wrapped twice. Not a crest, a current shield with my initials etched. Heat climbs my neck and tries to drown judgment. The driver folds my fingers over the metal gently. Do not wear it yet, his eyes mean the warning. Let them show themselves first, then you show this. I close my fingers over the shield and the bell rings again. The storefront light flickers twice and a shadow crosses the glass. Out the side, the woman already moves for the hinge. The driver waves me through and checks behind us. Somebody tests the main door with a slow push. We cut through a narrow alley and hit a fence. He kneels, laces his hands, lifts me toward the top. I swing over and drop with knees soft. They follow fast and land in sync with me. Boots scrape pavement behind us like teeth. A van noses around the corner and accelerates hard. We sprint along loading bays toward a stairwell. Metal groans under our weight and echoes loud. The woman points up with 2 fingers and climbs. I know we will not outrun an engine here. On the roof she crouches and scans the river. Flash the badge once, her palm hovers near mine. I raise the metal just high enough for a glimpse. The van brakes and 2 men step out wary. They hesitate because authority fogs hunters. We cut across tar lines and reach another hatch. It's locked and warm like someone used it. The driver pulls a strip from his sleeve, quick. The latch pops and we drop into dark stairs. The door seals above us with a blunt thud. Voices bounce down after us and then vanish. I take point and count landings under my breath. A stale hallway opens toward a hotel corridor. The woman straightens her jacket and smooths hair. Walk like we belong, she whispers without looking. We pass a banquet sign and hear clinking glass. A bellman glances up and then away on cue. The driver veers left toward a service lift. I press the stop button and we rise jerkily. My chest settles into the rhythm of the cage. 4th floor mezzanine, her mouth barely moves. Foundation committee holds a closed session here. She checks my pocket for the recorder and nods. Keep it hot and ask narrow questions only. I nod back and let the doors part slowly. A private lounge hums with contained chatter inside. A guard reaches for my shoulder and then pauses. He clocks the edge of the badge under my coat. His hand falls as the woman signs a guest book. We slide past the rope before he decides. A man in a trim suit approaches with a grin. Couriers this late always bring storms, he toasts air. I let the recorder peek from my palm like a deck cut. Delivery requires confirmation on tape tonight. His smile tightens and his eyes measure angles. Name the allocation group and amount due, I push. He licks his molars and lifts 2 fingers slowly. Group 7 3 quarterly plus special. Special lands between us like a loaded word. I let silence bite until he fills it. For the nursery wing, his grin collapses to a line. The woman writes 3 digits on a napkin and taps. He flinches because the numbers hit something real. The driver tilts his chin toward double doors behind him. A gavel knocks somewhere beyond the screen. Proof of authority, the suit rubs his wrist nervously. I flash the shield half an inch and then drop it. He exhales and gestures toward the inner chamber. We move as a pack while the guard watches. My palms sweat and the recorder hums with it. Inside, a semicircle of chairs faces a lectern. No one looks up until the suit clears his throat. Courier present for verification, his ring clinks on wood. A woman with sharp glasses twitches toward her tablet. Her thumb hovers over a silent alarm. I step to the lectern and plant the recorder down. State the purpose of special funding aloud. She blinks twice and finds a neutral tone. To expedite intake without public filings, she answers. The driver shifts his weight and I keep pressure. What does intake mean tonight? I move one step closer. Transfers from feeder clinics to private sponsors. The words come easy for her because routine kills shame. I feel my jaw lock and remember to breathe once. The woman beside me stiffens like a drawn wire. A door opens behind the chairs and a priest enters. He stops when he sees us and folds his hands. Discretion, he murmurs like a warning to the room. He does not leave because power loves an audience. My thumb stays on the recorder because truth needs ears. Confirm oversight on donor credits, I do not blink. Clearinghouse handles it before audits, the glasses answer. The priest shifts and studies the badge ridge near my pocket. He tilts his head and offers a gentle nod. Everything in order if you carry approval. Then approve this, I pull the strip from my shoe. He scans the list and his smile falls away. He recognizes 3 names and clenches his jaw hard. Where did you obtain this confidential record? The woman at my side takes one step forward. Answer the question he asked, her voice sharpens. The room tightens like a muscle about to tear. The suit tries a laugh that dies midair. Outside, a lift bell dings 3 times in a row. The guard radio crackles and someone runs. Meeting adjourned, the priest declares with calm ice. Chairs scrape while he edges toward the exit. I step into his path and hold up the shield. Sit until external review arrives, I say. His eyes flick toward my hands and then the door. The woman slaps the silent alarm down herself. You want witnesses, she says, now you have them. Doors burst and hotel security fills the threshold. They stop cold at the sight of the badge. I feel the whole room tilt toward a choice. The priest breathes slowly and softens his posture. We will cooperate, he offers with a polished smile. He points at the recorder and gestures patience. Allow our counsel to join, then we proceed. I hear the van engine outside change pitch. The driver leans to my ear and whispers quick. 2 of theirs just parked under the portico. We hold position and let the cameras catch faces. The glasses woman stares holes through the table. Her leg shakes once and she bites her lip. Hotel officers begin to catalog names with care. I spell the donor list numbers one by one. The priest pretends boredom while counting breaths. The suit keeps glancing at the ceiling sprinkler. He wants chaos to erase what we caught. A fire alarm blasts and water sprays like stitching. People shout and push for exits immediately. The priest disappears in the swell toward a stair. The guard loses us in the fog of motion. The woman grabs my sleeve and yanks hard. We dive through a service hall toward the kitchens. Steam roars from valves and hides our outline. A back door opens and the limping informant appears. He tosses me a plastic pass and jerks his head. Elevator 3, he grins, staff only. We pile into a freight lift and hit basement. He wedges a key and locks the panel on bypass. Counsel scrambled the top, he pants, so we go under. He taps his pocket and winks at the recorder. Got their prayer in full earlier. Basement opens onto tunnels that smell like coolant. He points at a painted arrow and starts jogging. The woman covers our rear and checks corners. My calves burn and the shield cuts my ribs. I keep moving because stopping means hands. We reach a steel door with a mesh window. Behind it, shelves stacked with banker boxes wait. The limping man fishes a small card from his shoe. He slides it through a slit and listens for a click. The bolt slides and stale air leaks out. Inside, labels run with neat years and codes. The woman grabs one carton and checks a mark. She numbers the sides and passes it to me. Take only what proves the transfers tonight. Her tone leaves no room for argument. Footsteps drum above us and dust drifts down. The driver braces the door with a heavy bar. The informant stacks 3 boxes as a barricade. I pull one folder and press the recorder close. Pages rustle like a confession waking up. A pattern jumps out and nails the dates together. Sums match the special line from the lounge. Signatures repeat across months without variation. The priest's name anchors every approval in ink. My throat warms and my hands go cold. The bar at the door starts to shiver under blows. We pack the folder into my jacket and seal it. The woman tucks 2 slips into her waistband. The informant grins like he sees daylight coming. Shoot, he points laundry intake to alley. We squeeze into the shaft and sit on the edge. I hold the recorder to my chest and breathe twice. Go, the driver nods, feet together. I drop and slide through canvas with a jolt. I land on bags and roll toward a square of night. Alley air hits and I push up fast. The van idles at the curb with doors cracked. The informant tosses a flare beneath the axle. Rubber screams and men spill out confused. We sprint for a stairwell that climbs to street. At the top, patrol cars scream past toward the hotel. The woman tucks her hair and looks ordinary again. The driver pulls a sedan from a side slot. We dive inside and dump the boxes low. Sirens fade behind us and my palms finally open. I set the recorder on the dash and hit save. The shield gleams from my pocket like a dare. Next stop, the woman says, Central Intake downtown. She checks her watch and lifts one eyebrow. Time to force an official docket before dawn. We hit Central Intake and walk straight to the scanners. My ally palms the claim ticket while I keep the case high. She flashes a warrant stub and the guard steps aside. A supervisor clocks our faces and reaches for a silent button. I plant the shield on the tray and stare until his finger lifts. Emergency filing. I set the device on the counter running. Felony transfers tied to donor credits tonight. The clerk's smile freezes like wet paint in winter. She reaches under the desk and produces a numbered slip. One judge on call, she mutters, if you clear verification. I slide the folder across and tap the signatures. Her eyes flick down the columns and then away. A side door cracks and 2 plainclothes drift near. They circle just wide enough to make space shrink. I keep talking so they listen and stop thinking. Record of approvals, record of routing, names intact. The operative leans in and drops a second sheet. Hotel meeting archived on this chip right now. The clerk swallows and nods toward the interview booths. Room 2, she manages, no phones. We step into room 2 and hold our breath. A camera blinks awake in the corner and waits. I set the recorder on the table and aim it. The plainclothes pair follow and shut the door soft. One leans on the frame like he owns the hinges. Describe your authority, he watches my hands. I raise the shield half an inch and let it rest. Temporary commission under external review tonight. His partner glances at the woman and relaxes nothing. Then call your sponsor and prove it. I dial number 2 and keep the speaker on. Click a weary voice, authenticate for intake. I read the code from the folded note slowly. Confirmed, the voice answers, file your packet now. Both officers trade a look that tastes like doubt thinning. The clerk slides in a cart with a sealed printer. She feeds paper and stares at the timestamp. Judge is 10 minutes away, she murmurs, maybe 9. The door behind her opens and closes without sound. A new man appears and flashes a prosecutor badge. He flips the folder and lands on the priest's signature. His eyebrow rises, then drops as if he expected this. Chain of custody, he points at my shoe pointedly. I peel back the insole and produce the sealed drive. The woman logs the seal number with a firm nod. The prosecutor turns to the camera and speaks crisp. Opening package 1 for emergency docket. He breaks the seal and slots the drive into a port. On the screen, donation ledgers bloom row by row. Each line pairs with a transfer ID like a confession. A pounding starts in the hallway and moves closer. The plainclothes crack the door and peek out. Friends from the foundation just arrived, one mutters. The operative squares her shoulders and walks outside. Hold the room, she orders, we're lawful here. The clerk's monitor flashes a red banner and a countdown. System lockdown in 3 minutes, she whispers. The prosecutor types fast and prints a seizure list. He hands me 3 copies with a steady palm. Carry those like armor or expect handcuffs. The door bangs open and the glasses woman strides in. Her expression is polished, but her fingers tremble. "This material belongs to counsel," she starts calmly. The prosecutor cuts across without raising his voice. "Judge will decide that in 60 seconds. She tries a different angle and points at me. "Unlawful entry at a private address earlier." My chest tightens and then steadies with heat. The property held evidence of active crimes. The device on the table records each syllable clean. A clatter in the hall, my limping contact appears. He limps less and grins at the glass panel. "Delivery for room 2, he laughs. "Audio from tonight." He slides a padded envelope through the slot. "Hotel system backup, courtesy of aboard bellman." The prosecutor rips it open and checks the chip. He throws the footage onto the screen on loop. Clear shots of the priest approving the special. Clear audio of intake and donors and amounts. The glasses woman loses color and folds her arms tight. A gavel rap echoes from the corridor, portable bench ready. The judge steps into view with 2 deputies in tow. "What reaches me before sunrise," he says, gets heard. He sits, pulls the file toward him, and scans fast. His pen hovers over a blank order like a blade. "Question for the witness," his eyes cut to me. "Are you under duress from any party present?" I let the pause live so the words land heavy. "No," I breathe once. "I just want this on record." He nods once and returns to the stack. "Seizure granted, freeze authorized, protective detail assigned." He scratches the signature with ruthless economy. The clerk stamps the order and piles 3 copies. "Escort them to evidence," he tells the room. "Anyone obstructing will learn a new word, remand." The glasses woman recovers and plays her last card. She lifts her tablet and bluffs confidence. "A counterorder will arrive from circuit within minutes." The judge does not flinch and keeps writing. "Circuit can call me when their lights turn on." The plainclothes guide us down a back hallway. Steel doors open and heavy bins roll forward. We start loading cartons under a thick camera lens. I slide the recorder beside the first bin carefully. The operative tapes the lid and writes a docket code. My contact hovers near the doorway and watches routes. He tugs my sleeve and nods toward a shadow. 2 men pretend they're janitors and inch closer. The woman's hands see. "That's the air wants patience." They stop when a deputy strolls into frame, yawning. Another card arrives stacked with more files. The prosecutor checks each label and calls numbers. He stops at a sleeve and feels a second layer. His thumb splits the seam and finds a micro card. "Hidden annex," he mutters. "They plan for raids." The judge appears behind us with deputies doubled. "Move this to vault 5 and lock it twice." He glances at me and lowers his voice a notch. "Counsel will want your sworn statement by noon." I nod and feel the line I never thought I'd have. The corridor lights flicker and the alarm returns. A deputy grabs his radio and swears under breath. "Fire in the loading dock," crackles the voice. We push the last bin into the lift and pile in. The doors close and the floor shivers as if punched. When the lift opens, heat presses like a hand. Smoke washes across the bay and stings hard. I wrap my sleeve around my mouth and keep moving. The operative hooks my elbow and steers right. Through haze, I spot silhouettes racing for the bins. The contact lurches ahead and kicks a wedge loose. The rolling gate falls and blocks the nearest crew. A man crashes into it and curses loud. We snake around burning debris and hit a side exit. The lift behind us squeals as someone forces it. Outside air tastes sharp and real and ugly. Sirens converge from 3 directions and stack sound. The judge's escort car screeches to a stop at the curb. We shove the last bin into the trunk with help. The prosecutor slams the lid and points at our sedan. "Separate routes," he orders, "no convoy." The operative dives behind the wheel and guns it. My contact squeezes into the back and laughs once. "We broke their Sunday school," he jokes through coughs. I don't smile because the week hasn't forgiven us yet. 2 turns later, a motorcycle slots into our mirror. No plates, dark helmet, aggressive lane choice. I crack the window and flash the shield at chest height. He wobbles but doesn't back off an inch. The operative kills the lights and darts under an overpass. We shoot through a parking deck and change levels. The bike follows and climbs with a snarl. My contact opens a service door with a swipe. We ditch the car and sprint for the stair core. The bike echoes below us and hunts the ramp. On level 4, we cross to a pedestrian bridge. Below, the escort caravan splits as planned. I hug the bin with both arms and keep pace. The operative counts steps and watches for angles. Footfalls behind us multiply, and that's our sign. We burst through an office lobby and scatter. I cut right toward a revolving door and push hard. A guard blinks at my shield and waves me through. The others peel left and vanish into a hallway. The motorcycle reappears at street level and prowls. I wave down a taxi and climb in fast. Hospital vault entrance, I tell the driver flat. He nods and floors it without small talk. The bin rattles and the recorder bumps my ribs. Every piece of proof feels like a spine I borrowed. We pull into the hospital ramp as patrols swarm. A lieutenant flags us and checks the order stamp. His stance softens and he calls for escorts. 2 nurses meet us with carts and masks. Evidence vault this way, one urges, keep close. Down a service corridor we pass a locked door. From inside, a familiar voice prays under his breath. The priest awake, waiting for an exit that won't open. The lieutenant hears it and signals another unit. He looks at me and lifts a brow like a question. Hold him, I say, no special favors. My voice surprises me with how steady it lands. The bin rolls into the vault and the lock turns. The nurse signs the chain and taps the time. I stand in that cold room and let my hands shake. Not done, the operative whispers as she reappears. She carries a single page with a new code. Judge wants you to wear the shield for the press. She watches my eyes test that sentence for traps. Only for 10 minutes, then back off grid. I pin the shield to my lapel and step into noise. Cameras tick like insects and hands shoot upward. The operative angles me to the podium and steadies my elbow. 10 minutes only, she reminds me, then vanish. I nod once and face the wall of wanting eyes. Transfers occurred tonight under donor cover, my voice carries. Evidence is secured, docketed, and logged to Vault 5. Questions explode and bounce off each other like marbles. I raise a palm and let the room settle grudgingly. We will release exhibits as orders allow, not before. A reporter leans in with a mic and a dare. Who benefited from the special allocation? Her chin lifts. I let the recorder on my chest blink twice. Names are under freeze until arraignment, I answer flat. But the approvals trace to a single clerical office. The doors at the back swing and uniforms pour in. 2 deputies flank the priest and guide him forward. He keeps his eye low and lips moving like gears. The judge's escort follows with sealed bins and guards. Flashbulbs erupt as if light could wash guilt. Is this personal for you? Another mic inches closer. My mouth wants to bite and I force restraint. It became personal when children turned into ledgers. The words hit like a thrown glass and stay. I hear the operative exhale behind my right shoulder. A staffer from the committee shouts from the aisle. You illegally entered private property earlier tonight. Security moves, but I wave them off with one finger. I entered a crime scene that tried to eat itself. The staffer shrinks, then glances toward the priest for help. A deputy taps his watch, 3 minutes left now. I scan the crowd and find the limping contact. He stands near the wall with a boxy grin. He lifts 2 fingers and points toward the balcony. A figure shifts there with a lens like a rifle. The operative clocks the shadow and slides closer. She whispers toward the ceiling and taps her ear. Eyes high, drone relay, balcony 3, fast and crisp. Building security pivots and moves as one swarm. The lens disappears, then reappears at the opposite corner. Final question, I pick a face near the center. What happens when this blows back on you? I meet him with the calm I borrowed tonight. I file again, then testify, then sleep a little. Fear had my throat for years, no more. The priest lifts his head and finally aims a smile. You will find mercy if you step aside now. I feel my spine harden like newly set plaster. Mercy for who? My tone risks nothing now. He lowers his gaze and squeezes his beads harder. The judge steps to the microphones without ceremony. Emergency orders stand until morning review, he announces. Anyone tampering with storage meets me in cuffs. He signs a fresh page on the lectern with calm force. Press may view redacted logs within the hour. Time, the operative touches my wrist and turns me. We slip off stage through a service corridor at speed. Carts rattle and voices chase our echoing footsteps. The recorder keeps rolling because truth likes witnesses. My breath evens as the hallway narrows to a door. Outside, the night tastes like metal and old stone. A sedan waits with engine low and windows fogged. The driver unlocks from inside without looking back. We dive in and the locks punch down together. The car glides away as sirens rewrite the street. Roots burned, the driver mutters and checks mirrors. 2 tails behind, 1 block out, he signals left. The operative unwraps a small package and reveals nothing. Switch in 2 minutes under the L, she says. I tuck the shield into my pocket and breathe slower. We cut through an industrial stretch and take a ramp. A box truck merges beside us and matches pace. The driver points with a knuckle, go now, tight timing. We slide behind it and vanish from the tail's view. Thread the gap, he growls, or we buy a wall. The truck lifts and exposes a maintenance alley. Our sedan slips through and kisses a pothole hard. Headlights sweep the mouth of the alley and miss us. A gate ahead yawns open on a slow hinge. We float inside and the gate bites shut behind. The space holds a single railcar with doors ajar. Workers motion us in without asking for names. I carry the recorder while the operative takes the bin. The driver backs away and taps the horn twice. He stays outside like a decoy ready to burn. Inside the car, an agent with a windbreaker waits. He studies our faces and not our clothes. Chain of custody continues here, he says quietly. He offers a logbook and a pen that already writes. I sign and feel the tremor leave my hands. Your protection detail starts now, he continues. Non-digital comms until sunrise and then reassess. He slides 2 paper slips across a crate for me. Safe address 1, safe address 2, pick later. His eyes flick toward my pocket where the shield rests. Before I go, I say, let me call one person. The operative frowns but does not block me. The agent lifts a fixed line and hands me the receiver. No dial tone delay, just a clean hum of promise. I punch a number I never thought I'd press again. A breath answers and hangs there waiting for shape. Meet me at intake afternoon, I say carefully. Bring nothing but your voice and your spine. The breath turns into words and then cracks. Okay comes back small then stronger, okay. I hang up and the railcar shudders into motion. The agent latches the doors and checks the seals. The operative sits beside me and rubs her temple. You keep the shield until the courthouse, she decides. Wear it only when you intend to swing. We ride in quiet while the tracks drum a verdict. I press the recorder against the crate and listen. Every bump tonight has its own tiny sentence. Outside, city edges slide by like torn paper. Dawn hangs out there somewhere and feels expensive. The agent lifts the corner of a tarp and nods. Clothes, shoes, a new phone that only receives. He offers a burner with no contact list at all. It rings once you're cleared for testimony. He waits to see if I flinch or fold. I will show up, I answer, I will read it all. My voice does not shake and that surprises me. The operative allows herself half a relieved smile. Then rest your eyes for 20 minutes, she urges. We cross state lines and ghosts do not ride tickets. The car slows inside a tunnel and then stops cold. The agent stiffens and grabs the radio handset. Maintenance delay, a voice crackles, 3 minutes. The operative stands and draws a breath through her teeth. I slip the recorder into my jacket and prepare to move. Footsteps scrape along the outside of the railcar. Someone taps twice on the metal, then pauses. The agent raises a finger and points to silence. A key rattles in the outer hasp like a dare. I brace and wrap both hands around the crate edge. The hasp clinks and then falls still again. Our door does not swing because a padlock holds. The agent relaxes but does not holster anything. False check, he whispers, they wanted noise. The railcar lurches and the tunnel breathes again. We roll out into clean air and pick up speed. The operative closes her eyes and counts backward. I open mine and let the track rhythm settle everything. When I speak, it is mostly for myself and the tape. I am not running anymore, I am walking in. The agent passes me a pen and a fresh sheet. Write a timeline while it's sharp, he suggests. I print hours and places and faces with care. Every line anchors the next like rungs I own. When I finish, my hands stop buzzing at last. The railcar brakes near a small depot with fences. A A motor pool waits with 2 bland sedans and coffee. The operative stands and straightens her jacket. From here, separate lanes again until noon, she says. After noon, 1 lane, a courtroom with doors that lock. I step down onto gravel and feel the day begin. The shield is heavy in my pocket and right for once. The recorder blinks like a heartbeat I don't have to hide. A siren wails somewhere far off and then fades. I square my shoulders and head toward the car waiting.